in Akwa Ibom State, we have 31 local governments. From the tribunal pronouncement, 18 local governments, nothing happened there. And if we follow the tribunal pronouncement, 13 will not allow them to be governor because 13 falls short of 2/3 of 31. And so, even if elections are taking place and he did not win more than, if we had free and fair elections.
You have said that you are not contesting who is still governor. You have said that that is not in contention. We're flipping it the other way around, because what you're doing is you're flipping it to that side. What if we flip it the other way around and say that, well, if you lose in, or if you won in 18, you will still not be governor either way, because you need at least 21, I think, if you're to look at 2/3 of 31 thereabouts.
What I'm saying is this: if the elections were free and fair, and the results came out with Udom with 13 local governments, INEC will not be entitled to declare him governor because 13 falls short of 2/3 of local governments in Akwa Ibom. So that's what I'm saying. As for Udom being in office right now, he must take benefit of the law. The electoral law says he remains in office until he exhausts his appeals. So it's not my own making.
That's what I'm saying. So if you flip it the other way around and your candidate won 18, which is what you've been able to prove according to what the tribunal is saying, your candidate will still not be governor. It's not substantial enough. It's not what the Constitution says, right?
In that case, a rerun will still have been ordered. A by-election will still have been ordered.
Exactly. So perhaps the tribunal was also trying to be careful, because the term substantial compliance is not spelled out in black and white as to what you might win, unlike what you must win to be declared governor. So maybe that's what they're looking at. You're not looking at that possibility?
No, the tribunal, when giving judgment, is not supposed to make anything a secret. That's why it's called judgment. You deliver judgment and you tell us what you did in the inner recesses of your chambers when you were deliberating. You should come out and tell the public, tell those who are parties, stakeholders, in your judgment, what you decided, the basis for your decision. That basis, unfortunately, with all due respect to the judges who we came to bond together for the past 3 months, is lacking.
Yeah, but if you look at, you say you've seen the judgment. I don't know how well.
I had the judgment. I was there throughout the 7-hour period the judges delivered their judgment.
So what was the basis they gave then?
Well, the basis remained unclear. They agreed with us that 18 deserved to be cancelled from the evidence before them. And then they said, okay, the card reader report was somebody from Uyo said the card readers were still being uploaded, the computers were still being uploaded. But again, we had the card reader report from the headquarters of INEC. And some of the witnesses came and said, some of the PDP witnesses came and said, we used the card reader in my place. We did this, we used it, but I was accredited with it. So, if you say card readers are not acceptable, why don't you cancel the entire elections for which card readers were used? Instead of making APC a scapegoat of card readers.
Are you going to...
the whole essence of it. Why punish APC for card readers, which even the PDP, INEC agreed was used?
In the elections which will be conducted in 90 days, as ordered by the tribunal, if it does go ahead, will you advocate that card readers be used?
Of course. Card readers did not interfere with any provision of the Electoral Act. Card readers are merely saying, the Electoral Act says, when you go to your polling booth, you show your card. Card reader is saying, let us be sure that this card belongs to you. That is what the card reader is saying. Because the whole essence of nationwide registration of voters were done electronically. And so when you carry your card, just like you go to your ATM to your ATM machine, you slot it in. If it is not a card, if it's a forged card, it will not work. You cannot take out money with a forged card. And so the card reader is saying, it's not interfering with the electoral process at all. It's just saying, look, you want to vote, let us be sure this card belongs to you. That is all.
So you are saying... Okay.
And then the candidate did its work and said, in Akwa Ibom, say you had 438,000 votes. And some people were accredited and voted on account of that. Others said, no, we couldn't be accredited because the candidate did not work in my area. Because of that, we filled incident forms. So when candidates were used across the state, you now punish APC for relying on what everybody depended upon. Why? If you punish APC, why do you leave PDP out? Equal opportunity.
Well, quite a number of people will say that what you're doing right now is that it will seem that you're calculating the figures, because if you say that the PDP already has a head start, and that's the reason why you're not agreeing with the judgment, or you're not quite satisfied with the judgment, that you're just looking to reap where you have not sown.
Oh, that is not true. It's not correct to say we are trying to reap where we did not sow. As a matter of fact, it's PDP that is attempting to reap where it did not sow. When you did not gain the votes and the election was cancelled in 18, and we say that is substantial non-compliance with the Electoral Act, and that we deserve judgment. So right now they are sowing where they are reaping where they did not sow, because in the first place they were not entitled to be there with 13 local governments. That's what the judgment of the case of the court is saying.
No, but that's not what the judgment has said, the pronouncement that we have at the moment. But yeah, we understand what the meaning you're imputing to it.
She said we are reaping where we did not sow. And I'm saying no. It is rather that PDP is reaping where it did not sow. Because if the court said 13, if 13 was what you used to become governor, then 13 did not make up 2/3 of Akwa Ibom State.
All right,
but you are in office, reaping where you did not sow.
That's according to the tribunal, not themselves.
That's according to the tribunal. We must rely on what the tribunal says until we appeal. That is what the law is.
Okay, just give us a moment. We'll be back in a moment. Just hang on. Welcome back. Our concluding moment with Victor Yanam, who is the former Attorney General and Commissioner of Justice in Akwa Ibom State, talking about the election tribunal, which has just handed down its judgment. Well, I have people asking that if you're talking about the 18, where the elections have got to be conducted, and then the 13, are you factoring in the number of votes that was cast in those 13 and the balance that will be vied for in 18? They are suggesting that isn't that part of the reason why the judgment came the way it did?
No, it is when you have achieved that statutory provision of 2/3, and then before that issue of the number of your votes will come in to differentiate you and your other opponents. So that issue does not arise now. Does not arise now because we are also questioning the remaining 13.
So is your proceeding to appeal a question of they're also proceeding to appeal? Or you are going to go to appeal whether or not they go?
So we are going on appeal whether or not they go.
You're not going to wait for the elections?
No, we can't wait for them. They are comfortable where they are. We can't wait for them.
What are you going to be asking for?
A nullification of the entire election. I will let my cat out of the bag. Don't forget.
The question is, what if you don't get it?
Huh?
What if you don't get it?
We will exhaust all the avenues open to us for appeal. Not getting it is not an option.
Because many did say that, well, you did ask for it at the initial stage. It wasn't granted, so are they going to... yes, you will take your chances. You're not happy with the judgment. That's what you're appealing. But what if at the end of the day they say, no, this is the way it is. Go and vie for those 18. You have to accept it, won't you?
I doubt whether the higher courts will go along with that decision. We are very optimistic in the rightness of our appeal. We don't believe that judgment on the remaining 13 will be sustainable. And the other grounds we have.
But if you're confident that you will win these elections. Why go on appeal? Why not go ahead and take this 18, win it, and then win the elections?
We want the elections to be on firm, equal ground, not with allotment of 13 local governments in advance, and then we come and fight for an election that we are sure to lose on the basis of 18 not making up to 31.
So that's essentially where your grouse lies.
Some will say half bread is better than nothing, but there is some glimmer of hope for majority of Akwa Ibom State people who believe that that election was fraudulent.
All right, thank you very much indeed, Victor Yanam, former Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice in Akwa Ibom State.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right.